Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1. I was on the Twitters watching the reactions of people. I'm not one of those super hyped people who watched it as soon as it dropped. Like, I gave it a day, just finished looking at it, but I was looking at reactions and thinking to myself, wow, man, people are really high on this thing. One of the guys that I know named Ben, Ben posted this tweet, and I'm looking at his tweet like, man, I feel like Ben is like super fanatical. Like, it can't be that good. Then I watched the episode for myself and I was like, man, Ben might have been right, bro. So if you're watching me on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel because I get most of my views from people who aren't subscribed. I think I'm at like 80% of the views coming from non-subscribed folks. So please subscribe and help me grow my channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please follow the page, share a video, leave a like, leave a comment. Question: what was your favorite part of the episode? For me, it had to be the opening salvo with the Mandalorian going to the fight club, beating up a bunch of people, giving off those Batman vibes. So let's just get into talking about the episode and start right there. I know that I'm a comic book fan. I know that I really enjoy comparing things to other things. And for me, when the Mando was in there, he just gave off the strongest of Batman vibes. Like, set the trap for the other people. They thought they had him. No, he has you. He shot the little rockets out, went hand to hand, whipped a bunch of people, stabbed some folks. I was happy to see all of it. And to me, the thing that really gave off the Batman vibes outside of the fight, because you can have a main character who can fight and not necessarily say he's like Batman, but I think is the cape that goes along with his outfit. The fact that he took down a whole bunch of people, reminiscent of that glorious warehouse fight scene. But more importantly than that, the thing that was screaming Batman to me is that when he shot the little grappling hook and wrapped my boy up by his feet and then hung him upside down and interrogated him. I was like, yo, this is the Batman. This is Batman right here. And I know Star Wars and DC, they don't mix. This is Disney. Disney has Marvel, whatever. I just felt like I am getting strong Batman vibes from the Mandalorian, and Batman is my favorite character, so I loved it. Loved it. Now the rest of the episode is great, but I still have to say that's my favorite part. A whole lot of noise has been made about Season 2, and I must say that everything that I've heard so far, before watching the episode, I thought people are exaggerating. These are Star Wars nerds. After watching it myself, I think, nah, they was pretty spot on. And I'm not a huge Star Wars guy, but I do like Mandalorian, and I have seen all the movies. And for me, there's probably a lot of things that I'm missing because I don't know the lore of Star Wars. But I must say, we get a very beautifully shot episode. We get a great backstory from the Marshal, played by Timothy Olyphant. I love that tie-in, like you mentioned in the Death Star. You're talking about it being the second one to blow up. You're telling about the power vacuum that existed on your planet when the Empire pulls out and these new bandits roll in. It's like, that was cool to see, okay, this is the type of stuff that happened to places between the original trilogy and the most recent trilogy that we got. This is nice. This is cool. You get a ton of action in this episode dealing with the huge sandworm that's eating stuff up. All I can think about is Dune. R.I.P. to Doom. That's just not coming out this year, or who knows when it's coming out. But getting back to it, everything was shot so well throughout the episode. One of the things I noticed in the action scenes, like, you get the changes in aspect ratio. Now, if I was watching on regular television and I was playing with my phone or something like that, I probably wouldn't have noticed. But I actually said, let's get intense. Let's put the pods in. Let's watch on the iPad. And as I'm watching, I'm thinking to myself, man, this is like, the screen size is changing. And I noticed it a few times, like specifically, like I guess the editing showed you the aspect ratio changing toward the end. But I noticed in the fight scenes, things got wider. You got a little bit more put in the frame. I guess it was IMAX. I don't know. Again, I was watching on the iPad, but as I'm looking, I'm like, oh, it's bigger here. It's more on the screen here, which is great. I like that they do that they mess with it. And kind of like I said in my season 1 review, like, this show isn't shot by a bunch of amateurs or a bunch of people like giving you fanfare every week, like blockbuster movie stuff every week. Like, no, these people are artistic. They understand angles, they understand wide shots, they understand how to use aspect ratio to like make things seem better than they are. And honestly, there's nothing that I could nitpick about this episode. I know that it opened up with a character that most people didn't like from season 1, the little lady with the curly hair, the Junker. She was fine to me. I didn't have a problem with her in season 1. Didn't have a problem with her here for the moment that she was here, but it was cool to see, and I hope that they do that continuously throughout the season 2. Like, they continue to go back to the people that we saw in season 1 and use them in a good way in season 2. Now, for all the people who are deep into lore and you're really into Star Wars, help me out. I'm thinking that the presence of this armor that belongs to the Marshal, I'm thinking that this armor puts a bow or wraps up the Boba Fett story. Now, I know that at some point we're going to see the actual Boba Fett, like the guy who played Boba Fett in Mandalorian season 2. I'm imagining it's going to be flashbacks because of the time period, like we saw Boba Fett die in one of them movies. He died, and I thought here, just looking at this armor being present, it's like, oh, this is like wrapping his story up. Like, he was eaten by that sandworm back in one of those Star Wars movies, and then, oh, his armor was salvaged. Bam, it ended up with this guy, a Mandalorian recovered it. Maybe we'll see some more to come with it later. But it was cool to me that it was present, and it kind of gives you a link to those films, just like the backstory of the Marshal did link to those films. Now, let's get petty. Let's get super picky about one thing that I wanted to mess with. I just found it real funny. I found it very funny that the one person at the little town hall meeting who said the Sand People are monsters. I'm like, fam, have you looked in the mirror lately? Have you ever seen yourself? Are there mirrors in the Star Wars universe? Because, fam, you look like a monster. Like, you could give somebody nightmares. Like, you damn near Freddy Krueger. And you calling somebody else a monster? Like, you pot calling the kettle black there, my guy. I feel like you need to calm all the way down, because the Sand People, you know, they wrapped up. We don't know what they look like under there. We see your face, bro. And you scarred up. You look lumpy. You look bad. You need to stop. Anyway, besides that, man, I enjoyed the episode. I was happy that it did feel longer than the normal episodes that we tend to get. We normally get like 45 minutes, 47 minutes. We got 51 here. I was glad. I was hoping for like a full hour. Give me a whole hour. But it's cool. I enjoyed it. It was a great episode. I'm looking forward to episode 2 next weekend. And what I'm going to do is try to get these out a little bit faster. Took my time. Kind of busy. But in the future, I'll be dropping those right on a Friday. So if you're liking what you see here, you like my little commentary on it, please come back, check out more videos. And honestly, one of the observations I forgot to make in my season 1 video is that this show is so good because it's one of the few PG-13 shows like that still get a huge audience up. So I'm glad for it. I'm excited. I want to see episode 2. This was great. Come back and see more. Enjoy yourself. Guard your heart. Check me out on another video.